Nerdrotic.com.
Merry Christmas, everybody. And it's turned out to be a very fandominous Christmas, hasn't it? And I hope everybody is having a great day. As great a day as I'm having, because I'm breathing and I'm here live streaming with you all. Let's bring down that music just a little bit. One day I'll figure out how to make that a little smoother. But until then, we're just going to have to deal. We're going to have to deal. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. Today, we have a lot to celebrate, a lot to talk about, and I wasn't supposed to go live today, but I had a little time before I go to our little shindig in Corte Madera today. And I just wanted to talk to you all on Christmas. And we can talk about what's ahead, what's happened, maybe talk about the BBC dropping the Fandom Menace in an interview with Jar Jar Abrams, which was a pretty big deal. And then we can talk about Collider whinging about the Fandom Menace, because apparently it's your fault that The Rise of Skywalker sucks. But who didn't see that narrative coming? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, right? Hanukkah started on the 22nd. And Happy Life Day and whatever holidays there are out there. Quarter Black Garrett's in the house. What's up? We also have Random Brad Creates, Red Monarch, Mlagion, Keely Chow, Tippy Tail McKitty, Otis, Minor 7 Sharp 11, LT Showcase. It was very nice meeting you at the meetup before we saw the Fall of Skywalker. Judacon, Miss Sad Song, both members, welcome to the membership. Darkstar 76, that guy Mark Lerzeth and his wrench is always here. Thank you, my friend. And thank you to all the Modrotics out there. I will be anointing a few more of you, actually, pretty soon, including Nina Fabiano, if you care to take it. Yeah, listen, if I anoint you as a Modrotic, you don't really have to do anything. I appreciate anything you get. I get. Larry, welcome. Aubrey James, Deaths 007, and Mikey Woods. All right. So, I also want to talk about The Witcher, which I'm liking, despite some very 2019 stuff. So we're here at the end of the Fall of Skywalker. And I'm not, listen, it's a day-by-day thing. I don't know where we go from here as far as Star Wars is concerned, because the thing that I loved about Star Wars is done. It's finished. It's cooked. It's not coming back. And I've accepted that. That's fine. But I don't know if I have any real interest in this brand, because I never saw it as a brand, and I'm sure you guys didn't either. I saw it as something much more special. As I've said before, it's my generation's Beatles. And this is, this is probably what it would have been like if the Beatles had gotten back together. It probably would have been very corporate, very stale, very homogenized, and I doubt we would have gotten any of the magic that we did in the 60s. And quite frankly, Star Wars is of its time. I know there's a narrative out there, recently pushed by the rule of number 2 on Collider, stating that The Empire Strikes Back was a divisive film, and things have been divisive with Star Wars since 1980. Bullshit. When The Empire Strikes Back came out, I was 10. I remember it vividly. It's what really leveled Star Wars up for me. All of my friends loved it. We were taken aback by the ending, of course. Now, as far as the media is concerned and the critics at that time hated everything with spaceships and wizards and superheroes because those movies weren't considered real cinema back then. You had to have a bunch of British people sitting around a table being dramatic, or you had to have a bunch of American people sitting around a table being dramatic. You had the old movies were, I think, better back then, but largely what critics liked were dramas. I say drama because it's like Dramamine for me. That's the one genre I like the least. I think the only dramas I've ever enjoyed were soap operas, believe it or not. There might be one or two out there, but honestly, what my taste is it's got to have spaceships, wizards, or a drug deal gone bad. That's pretty much all I need out of a film. I also like surreal stuff. I'm a big fan of Terry Gilliam, So, but The Empire Strikes Back was not a divisive film at all. So that's a bullshit narrative. And it's just trying to bolster the Last Jedi narrative. I didn't like The Force Awakens. I didn't like The Last Jedi. And I didn't like The Rise of Skywalker. And I don't like the Disney trilogy. And it's really easy for me to pretend it doesn't exist. If somebody out there likes it, fine. I have no problem with that. I question your taste, but that's as far as like movie recommendations. Doesn't mean I don't like you as a person. Especially, if you watch The Fall of Skywalker twice, which I don't recommend, you do catch a lot more because the first film is so fast. And honestly, the plot, I guess, can get debated till the end of time. And that's what Jar Jar Abrams, that's part of his magic. That's what he intends to do. What he does is he purposely leaves open-ended questions for you to debate that he never intends on answering, ever. So the debate is completely pointless. The thing that built Star Wars, the thing that built genre and fandom and Game of Thrones and a lot of other IPs out there is debating theories that would eventually get paid off. Whether they get paid off well or not, that's up to interpretation. Jar Jar Abrams never intends on paying them off. He just wants to create conversations and leave and let somebody else finish stuff. So not explaining where the Emperor came. I heard there's a ton of Emperor theories. I don't care. It's meaningless. It doesn't matter because it will never get answered. And if you tell me a comic book, then I'll tell you it doesn't get answered. It doesn't get answered where it was supposed to get answered. I was in line at Target today getting a last minute gift card. And I saw a Poe Dameron book there in the discount book thing. That was brand new. And you probably needed to read that to find out he was a spice runner and stuff. But I also have to care. See, that's the important part is I have to care. And I don't. Disney made me not care about Star Wars anymore. I'm not angry at all. I'm not. I just don't care. So let's see what you guys have to say. We also have to talk about what's coming up because 1 month from yesterday, Star Trek Picard premieres. How many of you actually knew that? If you weren't a hardcore Star Trek fan, I doubt you would. We've only gotten a couple of trailers for this, and I imagine they're going to ramp up the promotion once we get out of this year, probably a couple weeks ahead. But this for as much, everything is riding on this series for CBS All Access, everything. And it's just hasn't been out there. They haven't promoted it. Disney Plus has sucked out all the oxygen in the streaming room for CBS All Access, which had this huge head start and completely failed with Star Trek Discovery. So yeah, we've got that a month away. That, I don't know. I hope it's good. I don't want it to fail. I don't want to see Patrick Stewart in something that fails that has Star Trek on it, even though I really don't recognize CBS Star Trek as official Star Trek. And I won't recognize this unless they pull a complete 180. They just put Alex Kurtzman's name on it, and he has zero to do with this series. But losing a showrunner, another one, which reflects, Alex Kurtzman regime is a lot like Kathleen Kennedy's. There was a lot of fired showrunners, a lot of fired directors, yet Alex Kurtzman stays, yet Kathleen Kennedy stays. This might be the thing that does in Kathleen Kennedy. I don't know. Last time I checked, it was Rise of Skywalker was at $175 million, which is a Disney Star Wars disappointment. I won't go as far as to say it's a flop. That we'll have to see after the second weekend. We can call it a Star Wars flop, but I don't know. And then we have to talk about the thing that's coming right around the corner. The thing that really kind of launched my channel is Doctor Who. Now I know it's been very quiet around Doctor Who. The videos don't get a lot of traction. There just isn't a lot of interest. I think that'll change once the series shows up. Similar thing happened with Star Trek Discovery. When Star Trek Discovery Season 2 rolled around, we asked ourselves, how much worse could it get? And, I'm just going to stop asking that question because it can get so much worse. And I'm fully expecting for Doctor Who Series 12 to be that bad. And it's going to premiere this New Year's Day. I will be live after it airs in the UK. That I'll do a video later, and I'll probably do an American live stream later that evening, and then from then on out, for the rest of the series, it'll just be live in UK time because honestly, more people watch it in the UK than they do in the US. It's not even close. It's not even close. I'm sorry, I'm trying to pull this over here. Okay, watch Cats. You know what? For a joke, I kind of wanted to go and watch it, but Mrs. Nerdrotic shot it down. No one watches Star Trek Discovery, says Rocks21. You are correct. Nobody watches it, and nobody has been watching those short treks. I didn't get numbers, but I heard from my insider that they were a fart in the wind. Nobody cared. They smelled something a little bad, and then it just went away. That was that. I haven't even watched. They released 2 animated ones last week. Didn't even watch them. I was too busy with Star Wars, with Disney Star Wars, which has been taking over this channel, taking over my life. But I want to reassure everybody that I will be talking about other things. This is not a Star Wars exclusive channel by any stretch of the imagination. I actually owe you guys a bunch of reviews. So after Christmas, I plan to get to work on Watchmen, Witcher, The Expanse, and The Boys. I owe you guys The Boys. And then if I have time, I would like to do The Umbrella Academy because I actually like that. I want to mix in some good stuff with some bad stuff. I also want to remind you that around New Year's, we're going to be doing our awards show. I do an awards show. So we do the good and the bad. And the good is called the Rorys. So that's named after an award in Life, the Universe, and Everything, which is a book by Douglas Adams. And a Rory is passed out for the best usage of the word fuck in a serious screenplay. So it's a Douglas Adams Memorial Rory Award, and that gets doled out to the best of 2019, which there's not a lot of, to be honest with you. And then we do the Uranus Awards after that, which is all the worst of 2019 and boy, do we have a lot to choose from. My patrons get to vote on it. I come up with the nominations, my patrons vote, and then we do a show. I do need to actually design a Uranus award. I have a few ideas on how that'll look, but yeah, review cats. Maybe. Did I hear that they updated the special effects for that film for real? I like Witcher, but Yennefer could be hotter. She's pretty hot. I mean, she's not the stunning beauty that Yennefer has been portrayed to be in the video games and stuff. But I don't know. I kind of thought she was pretty hot. I don't know. Cecil's mask, maybe that might be at Mikey's Woods. Mikey's Wood. Mikey's Wood. Oh man, that's your name from now on, buddy. Just kidding. Scaro Trek for $5 says, because of the leaks, my expectations for episode 9 were absolute zero, but I ended up enjoying the film as a series of outlandish tone poems. And that's good for you. And I'm glad you did. I'm sorry, but my critical brain kicks in at some point, and it was ridiculously bad on every level. It just seemed more fun, and this is how I see it, Scaro Trek. I'm not saying you're wrong. Your opinion can't be wrong. But I don't know. The curtain has been. I've seen behind the curtain with Jar Jar Abrams already, so I know his tricks. He makes everything seem fun with zippy dialogue, but he just moves things so fast you don't think about him. Think about the dialogue. Where's the familiarity here? When were these people hanging out with each other? There's no context to anything that happens in that film. He starts making up shit. MacGuffin after MacGuffin. It's barely connected. There's so many plot holes, and it ruins other Star Wars movies. Now you got to start asking questions. Well, how strong is Palpatine? Did anybody even have a chance? Did he really lift all those Star Destroyers with his missing digits? I mean, you're not supposed to ask that many questions with Star Wars. I get that, but there's too many there, and more than I care to even ask. More than I care to ask. I never want to see it again. It is, I mean, at best, it's a forgettable action film at best. And as far as people really loving it, I think it's going to be something that makes money, that will, like Alice in Wonderland, the first Alice in Wonderland. That's pretty much what this movie is. If you saw the first Alice in Wonderland, it made $1 billion worldwide and then was completely forgotten. I mean, that's Disney. And that's what we're going to get. And I don't think Disney paid $4 billion for that. And I'm not interested in seeing, I don't know, maybe because I'm older now. I expect a little more from my television and my movies, especially since I pay more for them now. And I've seen better stuff. And, once something gets, love or hate Game of Thrones, the television show. It started out well because they adapted superior source material. So this book is one of the best written books in the last 30 years, in my opinion, by any author. I think George R. R. Martin is still one of the best living authors out there. I'm pissed at him for not finishing his book, but I'm not going to deny his talent when it comes to telling this story. And this is a cut above anything Star Wars has ever produced as far as actually telling a good story. Now it's got to finish. And when you have source material like that, that's what you have to achieve from now on. Star Wars is not the only show in town anymore, and it's not the best anymore. So now they have to start making stuff like that. They have to start getting more sophisticated, a little more adult probably, because that's where the real money comes from. Star Wars is not for kids, and they clearly need to get away from that. They need to make it more adult, and I think The Mandalorian is close. I think it's progress, but not perfection. But it's still a side quest. It's a meaningless side quest, especially after watching the Fall of Skywalker. I think all of the debate from The Last Jedi was all based on hope. There was still hope things could change. There was still hope Luke could be brought back to life. And I said it in a previous live stream. Fans deserved to see Master Luke Skywalker lifting Star Destroyers, doing like epic Jedi. Just everything. I mean, he should have been in an epic battle. We should all of the new force powers, if there's going to be any, it should have been Luke showing them to Rey, and we didn't get that, and the fans were owed that. They were screw expectations and subverted expectations. That's not what Star Wars is about. Star Wars isn't Breaking Bad. We've already talked about this, and we didn't get that, and that ship has sailed now. For me and for a lot of OG fans, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. And Jar Jar Abrams changed so many rules so willy-nilly, it's screwed forever. It's screwed forever. They're going to have to retcon this for the next 10 years. And I believe, based on nothing, just experience, that, Disney likes to, they like to remake a lot of stuff, and they like to go back to to what's worked before. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has worked for Disney. Let's keep in mind that they didn't start the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they couldn't have started the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe started out of desperate need. And when you have that, you have innovation. If you all remember, the first 2 or 3 movies were financed. And if they didn't succeed, the financiers would have owned those characters. They put their asses on the line for that. And this is prior to the Disney sale. And this brought in some creative minds who were Marvel fans. They brought in some of the comic writers, and they created something from scratch that will never be created again by a corporation. But they still probably borrow the model and maybe do singular films, center it around a single hero, and then branch out from there and try to make a Star Wars cinematic universe. Although it's not worked well for any other company that's tried it. But I would imagine that's probably what they'll do. And get some, and actually work on merit this time. That, I think, will happen. I don't think they're going to, hire people based on their junk. Let's just say that. I think they're going to try to go out and find somebody who actually knows what they're doing this time. I could be wrong. But again, the Last Jedi debate for the last 2 years was over the hope that Luke would be redeemed, come back, and they would try to retcon some of this stuff. And they certainly did. But it was not fan service. I've said this before. I'll say it again. It was Jar Jar Abrams' service. The man said, F it, I'm going to do what I want. That was not for the fans. They can say it is. And the Access Media and the shills out there, including Collider, are going to say it is. And you know what? I'm not even going to watch their George Lucas deep fake stuff. I know it's cute and fun, but I'm not supporting that channel, especially all the shade that they throw to very recently. And that debate now with The Last Jedi is over. It's over. There's nothing to do. I mean, The Last Jedi sucked. It did irrevocable damage to Star Wars mythos. This does the same amount. Last Jedi ruined Luke. Rise of Skywalker ruined George Lucas's Star Wars. Ruined the character of Princess Leia, if you think about it. Ruined Han. And I'm like, again, like, the plot's not even worth debating, having theories, because they're never going to get answered. Listen, when something comes out in a comic book, that's not official canon. I don't care what anybody says, even if the company says this comic book is official canon. Do you know how many times companies have said that and then erased it or contradicted it? And it happens to this day. So it's not. It needs to happen in I'll say in the television show or the movie. And if it didn't happen there, it didn't happen. It just flat out didn't happen. And it sucks for the EU And, like if you want to remain a Star Wars fan, that's probably the best thing to do is just go back. You have a bunch of stuff. If you haven't read it, go back and read it. I heard my friend Ryan Cannell talking about Dark Empire today, where I think Dark Empire might have been divisive later on. When it came out, it was a huge hit. People loved it. I loved it. Everybody loved it. I don't know. I think the divisiveness might have come from prequel fans and later on. But when that came out, I don't think people ever... I know I didn't think we'd ever get the prequels. I never thought we'd get them. I thought that was it for Star Wars. I know George intended to do a bunch more, but I never thought we'd actually see them. So I was surprised when they got announced and stuff. But yeah. And they're still not very good movies. I mean, I appreciate... It's still Star Wars, though. I can appreciate some of the ideas. And just to tell you where I'm coming from with that, I saw the prequels as a full-grown adult. I didn't see them as a kid. I probably would have looked at them a lot different, but I was an adult. So, the critical brain was working. I wasn't just looking for Star Wars. There's some moments, there's moments. And I really do like the Revenge of the Sith novelization. I think it's great. I think that should have been the prequels. Norwegian Kryptonian, but Scarlet Trick, thank you for the $5. Glad you enjoyed it. And, I can't. Norwegian Kryptonian for 549 Norwegian krona, for being my favorite YouTuber of the year. Wow. Thank you. That's an honor. Keep up the good work. Shine on, you crazy diamond. By the way, have you ever listened to the bridge between Brain Damage and Eclipse on DSO TM and thought it was effing mental? You should do a Pink Floyd show. Dark Side of the Moon. So have I ever listened to the bridge between Brain Damage and Eclipse on Dark Side of the Moon and thought, this is effing mental? You should do a Pink Floyd show. Well, Norwegian Kryptonian, I happen to be a ginormous Pink Floyd fan. And yes, I have listened. Actually, it's the most mental. And you might have heard the live stream I was on. I was on like the Indica Sticky Icky, like the best ganj you could find back in the 80s. And I was tripping balls. And I put on Animals. And at the end of here, I gotta get my Animals up because I gotta remember what exactly track it was. Pink Floyd. Animals is the one that doesn't get a lot of love. It doesn't get a lot of love, but it really should. I remember when I went to London and I saw the factory that's on the cover of Animal. I went, no way! I was so happy. All right, so I believe it's at the end of Dogs Part 1. It's either at the end of, here. I remember the lyrics. Dragged down by the stone. Dragged down by the stone. I'll get back to Star Wars in a second, though. Dogs, right. So it's Dogs Part 1. At the end of Dogs, David Gilmour sings Dragged Down by the Stone, and then Stone echoes throughout the entire album. It's so rad. And it's back there. You can hear it. And I never noticed it until I was blazing. And I'm like, God damn. Or most of the album. I wouldn't say the entire album, but most of the album. And it's been years and years and years since I've been stoned. So, but it was great. And yes, Pink Floyd is actually better on Stuff. I don't recommend Stuff anymore, though. I don't. Thank you. And yes, I would be happy to do a Pink Floyd show. That would be great. Nicholas Horton for £5. I finished watching The Witcher. I just ordered novel 1, and happy Christmas Eve, Gary. Happy Christmas to you, Nicholas Horton. I have not finished The Witcher yet. I have 2 more episodes to go. I need to watch the entire series one more time before I do a proper review. I don't write my videos. I'll write notes for myself to remember stuff, but when you see my videos, that is me talking. I do clips, I cut stuff out, but that's just me talking. So I need to have it fully in my head. The reason I don't do a lot of reviewing of Netflix shows and shows that drop all at once is I can't do episodic reviews. They just don't work with binge. I've tried, they just don't work. And there's too much to cover in one video. But I think I found a way. I'm not going to go over plot or anything. I'm just going to give a review and tell you what I think, what my favorite characters were, what my favorite scenes were. That's it. Because I definitely want to talk. Algorithm be damned, by the way. I'm going back to reviewing more stuff next year. That's happening. I'm still going to do my new stuff, but I'm going to be reviewing stuff a lot more. I wish it would come out weekly and I could cover it like I do The Mandalorian. And I hope, I sincerely hope The Expanse changes their mind. And they just look at my little channel and listen, compared to other channels, it's little. When I do a Mandalorian review, it gets 40 to 50,000 to 60,000 views each week. And then the beginning episode and the ending episode always get twice as much. So the beginning episode gets, if there's interest in the show. So the first episode got 100,000 views. So, that's 50. And imagine, I don't know, 30 or 40 YouTube channels doing that for your show. That is free advertising you cannot buy. And that's why people are still talking about The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda, because they're weekly. So I hope The Expanse learns their lesson, because I think they learned it the hard way. I'm very disappointed in Amazon Prime for dropping the series all at once, and now it's completely forgotten. And it sucks, because it was the best show of 2019. I'll say it. I mean, The Boys was pretty freaking good too. We'll have to see. I got to watch The Boys again too. But for me, it's been The Boys, The Expanse, Umbrella Academy, Witcher, and that's kind of it. The Mandalorian, I could recommend The Mandalorian, but as far as writing is concerned, Mandalorian is not even in the same league as those other four shows. And The Expanse is on a complete different level when it comes to writing. Although Umbrella Academy was really good. It was really good. Thank you, Nicholas Horton. Yes, I read Blood of Elves and it was good. And I can't wait to read more. I'm even considering playing the game. Apparently I own it. On my Steam account that I never use, but my kids use, and my son said it's on my Steam account. So I'm going to be playing Witcher 3 on Christmas Day. That'll be the first video game I have played since Red Dead Redemption 1, which that's a long time, right? That's a long time. I'm not a big gamer. Nick, thank you. And Henry Liam, thank you for becoming a member at the proto-molecule level. Thank you. I appreciate you. So, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm never going to talk about Star Wars again. I will cover the news. But again, I was very serious in my review video, and certainly I'm probably leaving thousands of clicks behind, but I sincerely don't care about the plot of Disney Star Wars anymore. It's pointless. It's meaningless. It was never there to answer anything. It was never there to do anything other than make Disney some money. And I want them to make money. I want them to make all the money. That doesn't bother me. But you should have sat at the table and thought about story first, not agenda and money. And then story came a very, very, very distant third. And that's clear. I said it in my live stream with Doomcock on the Inquisition. I fully believe that they conceived the Space Horsies before they wrote a word of script for that film. We got to get the Space Horsies in somehow. It was just a rehash of Return of the Jedi with a little bit of Empire Strikes Back mixed in. There was no real thought. There was no sophistication. There was no characterization. It was, I don't even want to disrespect a cartoon. It wasn't even a cartoon. It was worse than that. It's a bad, you know, those video interludes you get in games. It's like a bad version of that. Michael Bellington for $9.99. I saw an interview with Wes Chapman, and he said that Amos does go back to Earth in season 5, and we see his past. Good. That means we're gonna get everybody catch up on The Expanse. It's all there. Go watch it. It's the best show on television, and next season will probably be its best season because it's based on its best book. It's going to be interesting what they do beyond this because the books get choppy after that. Books 1 through 5 for The Expanse are solid books. Some are great. Books 6 through 8, not so good. Sorry to say. 6 is half good. 7 is garbage. It's terrible. And 8, it's a recovery, but it's not. It still needs a lot of work. I'm into the lore, but there's characters I just don't care about. Stargate 404 for $2. More like Rise of Avatar: The Last Forcebender. Yep. There was some Harry Potter in there. There was Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is a fantastic cartoon, by the way. I highly recommend it. Dark Horse has some pretty good graphic novels on it, which I'm looking at right over there that I have, you know, The Promise, The Search. J Mel for $9.99. Merry Christmas. What's everyone's threshold for adding yet another streaming service? I'm pretty close to mine. Jay, if I was not reviewing television and pop culture, mine would be 3 or 4. I'm guessing that's what everybody's is. So Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and it's that third one that everybody's going to be thinking out. What would be my third one? Honestly, because my kid goes to it a lot, DC streaming. I know it's about to go away. I would probably HBO Max. I would probably hold out for HBO Max. I could never watch Disney Plus for the rest of my life, and I'll be fine. That's including the Marvel stuff, Star Wars stuff. I don't care about prequels. I don't want to see a bunch of in-between stories to MCU movies. I could care less about Bucky and the Falcon. That does not excite me in any way, shape, or form. Scarlet Witch, nope, not excited at all. These are characters we've seen before. I want to see something new. I want to see the Fantastic Four. I want to see Silver Surfer. I want to see more galactic stuff. But they're going to screw that up bad. And believe me, the Fandom Menace has a lot of work to do. Get your rest now, Fandom Menace. Go, spend the holidays with your family. Rest up. Go down in your basement, hit your punching bag, and get ready for Star Trek, Doctor Who, and then the MCU. Dark Star 76 for $5. Merry Christmas, Gary, Mrs. Nerdrotic the Tall, and Nerdrotic Jr. Hope you all have a safe and happy holiday. Why, thank you, Dark Star 76. I appreciate it. So, if you don't know, Nerdrotic the Tall is my oldest son, and he's very tall. He's 6'5". Cornelius Brunis for $5. So a big Star Wars fan, but I like, not a big Star Wars fan, but I like the series. They seem to try to fix problems by making it up as they go like Game of Thrones. People notice these things. They do. Especially with Game of Thrones, it was evident because a lot of people had read the books, and you saw that the changes they were making were pointless and needless. And the biggest mistake Game of Thrones did was veering away from magic because it wasn't used that much in the books anyway. I see a lot of people like comparing or wanting to compare, and this is ignorant critics and normies. I'm not saying you're ignorant, but The Witcher with Game of Thrones, like that crowd is going to naturally go to The Witcher because there's a guy with a sword and long hair. It's not how it works. That's not how it works. Game of Thrones it's very unique. It's a very unique fantasy. It's very grounded. And that's what makes it work though, because there is magic, there is gods, but it feels earned. There's a price to magic. The gods, you never, I mean, you are right there on the ground with the people. You will never know about the gods. And by the way, the god is George R. R. Martin. He's the red god. With Game of Thrones is not like your normal fantasy fare. The Witcher is. The Witcher is. And The Witcher borrows from a lot of things. A lot of things. But it's still good. See, I like that. I want monsters and dragons and sword play. Here's the problem that fantasy is going to have going ahead unless somebody from some independent company makes it. A lot of fantasy is, listen, I'm not into what I call the fairy and pixie dust fantasy, which like the Dark Crystal was close to, and the YA stuff. I like Conan, Elric, and Elric is something I recently picked up based on a Razor Fist video. I mean, I'd always heard of him, but I never read it or anything. And then I watched a Razor Fist video, and he sold that thing, man. I went on Amazon and bought a bunch of crap right after I watched that video. And it was great. But that's my type of fantasy. And you guys, I'm sure you heard Midnight's Edge reported this. Andre was talking about this, and I feel this. I mean, I love Conan, and I know Andre does, and he knows way more than I do. But I love Conan. I own every Marvel Conan, and a bunch of the books. There was supposed to be a Conan series on Amazon, and it got canceled because it was too masculine. Well, that's the kind of shit I like. So I'm, interestingly enough, the person who canceled that is gone now. So I wonder if they can try to bring it back. But I would love to see a Conan series, like a proper brutal Conan. But you can't do that anymore. We have self-censoring now, and that's the problem. You can't depict violence towards women anymore, even when it's a story, because Hollywood now believes that all the stuff. You remember, we've been fighting this for years, fighting the PMRC, who were trying to tell us that rock music was causing our kids to self-delete, video games, the whole argument. Well, now Hollywood believes it. Hollywood is bought into it. We fought for so long to keep Hollywood free to make whatever the hell they want. And then they're the ones who freaking self-edit now. And you're dead. You're dead as a storyteller or as entertainment. Listen, it's not like I like violence against women or men or anything, but these are the stories. They're just stories. They're just make-believe stories. Now people are free to write them, and this is where we're going to have other outlets, because it's just going to get homogenized and boring now. Mr. Chuck Nasty for $5. Have you seen John Campea and Robert Meyer Burnett discussion on the rise of Skywalker box office? I have not. I do not watch John Campea. I will wait for Robert Meyer Burnett to discuss it on his channel, and I'll watch it there. I'll be honest. I can watch anybody on YouTube. I do. I mean, I'm sure he feels the same about other YouTubers. I don't get it. I don't get the appeal of him at all. The one time I popped in to watch what he thought of The Witcher, and Robert Meyer Burnett hadn't seen it. And then he puts up a picture. Somebody put his face on The Witcher, and he said it improved it. And I stopped watching right then. I'm like, ooh, man. I mean, you don't want to throw stones in glass houses as a YouTuber, but like saying that putting your face on Henry Cavill improves the picture. And I know he's being funny, but he's really not. Yeah. Loa 007 for 50 Swedish krona. I do my part. No more woke and Mary Sue, and Sue, Mary, and shit. Yes, thank you. And I don't know if we've defeated the woke just yet. There's moments in The Witcher that are definitely woke. For people saying that it's not woke, that's just false. But I can take it. I don't mind a couple of things. It doesn't bother me. But there's some people who are just done, and I get it. I get it. Thank you for the 50 Swedish krona. Starlancer for 150. What's a UYU? We'll say dollars. We'll just say dollars. Merry Christmas, Gary. I have been with you since you started covering Star Trek Discovery, and I was thrilled to find you were a fan of The Expanse as well. Best wishes from 2020 from your biggest South American fan. Well, thank you, Starlancer. I appreciate you. And yes, I was thrilled to watch The Expanse and see that it wasn't woke in season 4 and it just remained The Expanse and got better. I thrilled. And I wish, and it's my hope that I'm dead wrong about the binging thing and that a bunch of people are watching it and it's making a bunch of new fans and we'll get it for 10 more seasons because then I will have hope for entertainment. Fizenthorpe for $50. Dude, thank you. Merry Christmas, Gary. To you and your family. Do you think Rey will find love in the future? Or will she wander alone until she's old and gray like Obi-Wan? Or is this the last we'll ever hear about these characters? I'm guessing it's the last. It's the last. That's it for these characters. They're done. They will go down in history as duds. Listen, there's going to be a generation of kids 10, 15 years from now who are going to love these things because they were 7 when they watched them and they will be like, oh, and it might have a little rejuvenation, but nothing like the original Star Wars, nothing even like the prequels experienced that. There's a whole generation of prequel fans that they were not well received. People did not like them. And it seems like just yesterday for me, but a lot of y'all out there were like little kids when Revenge of the Sith came out. It's like, shit, I was an old man back then too. But Star Wars is dead. It's just going to peter out. It's just going to fizzle out. It'll go out with a whimper. It'll just, there is the saying, it's better to burn out than to fade away. And I believe that. And Star Wars is going to fade away. It's not cool anymore. It won't be cool in the future. Disney is not capable of making it cool. Even with the most talented people involved, the best you're going to get is The Mandalorian. And it's popular, but it's not something that's going to drive your IP. Stargate 404 for $5. Star Wars Theory really liked it. Not surprised. His channel's called Star Wars Theory. Not to drag on the guy, but I can't see how someone who likes Star Wars can like it. That's what I say as well. If you like Star Wars, how can you like this movie? How is it even possible to like this movie? So the Emperor came back. It's one of a couple things. That's the dead body that fell down the shaft in the Death Star, or he has been puppet mastering a bunch of clones from there. Either way is stupid. It undoes Star Wars and it makes it a meaningless, pointless story. Star Wars Theory's channel's called Star Wars Theory, so he's got to hang in there whether he likes it or not, and that sucks. That's why you don't want to hitch your wagon to just one thing. Some nobody for $2. Expect nothing less from Fistney. They're the worst, and they kind of are, and I think they've had their moment in the sun. It wasn't too long ago where Disney wasn't the top dog. It was Warner Brothers. And it wasn't long ago, well, it was a long time ago, that Sony was the top dog over Warner Brothers. Sony was the top dog because of Spider-Man. Warner Brothers upped the game. Well, they equaled it with Batman. But both we got masterpieces from Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight and Batman Begins and the first Spider-Man, all great movies. Then we got bad third ones, but I'll say that Dark Knight Rises is better than Spider-Man 3, and I say that as a Spider-Man fan. But the MCU is I think it's done. I know a lot of people are like X-Men and Fantastic Four. The X-Men and the Fantastic Four you're going to get are going to look nothing like they do in the comics. They're going to look nothing like their source material. Period. End of story. The reason the MCU succeeded is because that stuff, Chris Hemsworth looked like Thor, and Robert Downey Jr. looked like Tony Stark, and the costumes looked like they did in the costume, and Chris Evans acted like Captain America. You are not going to get Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four. You're just not. The Eternals is a gamble at best. Black Widow's a prequel about a dead character. And they're not going to do the most untapped, best stuff they have is Ghost Rider, Werewolf by Night, all the horror stuff. They're not going to do it. They're just flat out not going to do it. And they're not going to be able to do it right. So I think it's DC's time to shine, but they got Jar Jar Abrams coming in. So that's too bad. That's really too bad. I hope The Witcher succeeds and it brings Warner Brothers to their senses to make Henry Cavill Superman again and get fast track another Superman movie right now. Henry Cavill's the shit. Problem being for $1.99, watch review Blake 7 if you love classic Who. I have Blake 7. Patron sent it to me. I need to watch it, and I will. And I adore classic Who. It's my favorite thing. Hey, Nerdrotic, can you buy... hey, Nerdrotic, can I buy you a Tesla beanie? Hey, Nerdrotic, can buy you Tesla beanie? Do you want to buy it? Because that's how you have it worded. Hey, Nerdrotic, can buy you Tesla beanie. Or do you want to buy my Tesla beanie? I'm probably going to retire it this year. I'm probably going to wear a Nerdrotic beanie. Or, I don't know. I'm kind of waiting for my Geeks and Gamers beanie. Maybe Jeremy sent it. Maybe he doesn't. But Adam, if you want to buy this thing, I'll wash it first and you can have it. But I only wear a Tesla beanie because it's the last beanie I own. I don't have any others, and I used to work for Tesla. Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99. Hail Gary, did you see the Mickey Mouse ears on Mando's ship? Yes, I have. Mwahaha, I don't think a corporation can make good Star Wars because there's no soul. No. There are, Kylo Ren's mask has a duck bill. The stormtroopers have duck bills. And the Mandalorian ship has Mickey Mouse ears, and that is purposeful. And I can't unsee it. Stargate 404 for $10. I am so sick of the narrative of toxic fans. Even people who run fan groups won't shut up about toxic Star Wars, how toxic Star Wars is, how the worst thing Star Wars created was Star Wars fans. Sickening. Stargate 404, these... they won't be around much longer. Don't worry. These are the tourists in fandom. These are the people, I equate them to lesbians until graduation, a lug. That happens a lot in college, and that's what we have a lot in fandom right now. We have a lot of people who are just swinging in here because it's cool. The minute it's not cool, they'll be gone. They'll have done their damage. This is fandom. This is speaking your mind. This is fandom in the 21st century. This is the way it's always going to be. And if you don't like critical thinking, I'm sorry. Why can't you just like something? Okay. Don't ever complain again about anything, and I'll listen to you. But generally, the people who are saying that, I'll go to their Twitter feed, and it's Orange Man sucks for the last year. But that's not toxic at all. That's not toxic. But this is. And it's not. We're just talking about a movie. And honestly, Stargate 404, a lot of what's behind it is politics, and people feeling like they're not getting enough attention. I'm sorry, but I prefer the Malazan Book of the Fallen over A Song of Ice and Fire. You don't have to apologize. Kenneth LaRock for 10 Canadian pesos. You can prefer whatever you like. But A Song of Ice and Fire is superior to most things I have read. Very few things like Tolkien. But Song of Ice and Fire is something special. Oh, it just jumped on me. Hang on, folks. I am a Game of Thrones fan. So, Witcher. All right, so I'm 6 episodes in. I'm not going to go over any spoilers. I'm just going to tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. I like Henry Cavill. He is great as Geralt. Now, I've only read one book. I have not played the video games. I am aware there's a lot of gender swapping and race swapping to the canon. I am never a fan of that. Ever. Create new characters, bring them in the lore if you need to do that. But if you're adapting something, you want to be as close to the source material as possible to maintain its spirit. I don't think adaptations should ever be perfect. As a matter of fact, I don't want adaptations to be like the book, word for word. I just don't, because then I'll just read the book. I want things to be different a little bit. I'm okay with that. I didn't think I was going to like Yennefer, because I see what Yennefer's supposed to look like, and I didn't think this actress could pull it off. She did. She was good. She was very good. She was very, very good. Henry Cavill, really, this is his character as far as television. I know there's probably Witcher fans going, listen. My son walked in and said he should have a beard. I agree. He should have a beard. He should. But as far as a television adaptation by somebody who is a complete SJW on Twitter, at least, I was expecting just this giant woke fest, and I didn't get that. I ended up enjoying it. There's a lot of girl power. But a lot of that is from the book. So if it's from the source material, and as far as that world is concerned and the rules, they don't break any of those rules really to me. It gets a bit much after a while. Some of the girl power stuff. Listen, whether it's in the books or in the games or not, the queen going out and fighting in like pitch battles and surviving is a stretch. It's a stretch. The only argument you can make is, you can't make that argument because it exists in a fantasy world. That's the only argument you can make, is the rules must be different in this world. Or maybe she was protected, but no, they had her like fighting. And yeah, it was like, and basically acting like a dude. Not the biggest fan of that. But I love the bard. I like, there's very good acting. The storytelling is above average. It's above average. It's not great like Game of Thrones seasons 1 through 3, The Expanse. Those are shows that are just written on a complete, The Shield, Breaking Bad. These are shows written on a completely different level than anything else. It's not like that, but it's above average. It's good. And that's pretty good for a first season, and pretty good for a writer I didn't think could pull it off. I thought this writer would just lean heavily, and believe me, they do sometimes. They do. There's a lot of talk about women just being vessels and stuff, and it's appropriate for the time. And honestly, back then, that's all they were, But nobody wants to hear that over and over and over and over and over and over again. But it's not. It's okay. Again, I haven't watched the last 2 episodes, so I don't know. It could change my mind. The effects are pretty good, and this is the kind of stuff I like, though. I mean, this is like my wheelhouse. That's what I like. I like dark fantasy, monsters, dudes with swords, magic, wizards. Shit, I'm there. That's. I want more of it. We don't get enough of it. Fantasy hasn't been pulled off very well, and you can't say it hasn't been pulled off on television because Game of Thrones did not succeed. It failed in the end. It failed miserably. So it's not a success. So it hasn't been pulled off on television yet. And there's only one film that's really done it well, and that's Lord of the Rings. Now, there's some, Excalibur, Krull, okay, I like that shit too. Conan the Barbarian, hell yeah. But it's far and few between. And it's a genre that is tough to sell because it's one of the most expensive. Plus, it's masculine now. So I think this is probably the best we're going to get. So I liked it so far. I will do a full review. I know Lost in Space came out. I did not like the first season very much. I thought it was very mediocre. I might check it out if I have time, but I'd rather watch The Boys again and The Witcher again. Now, the reason I haven't reviewed The Boys, I for one, I have. I reviewed the first episode. It's on Nerdrotic Live. Because it took me a while to get used to it. I'm really hardcore with I think the comics are just genius, and they took a lot of departures from the comics, and I was conflicted. And the other reason I'm conflicted is because my friend co-created the characters. My friend Derek Robertson, who was the artist on the comic book, and I'm in the comic book. I'm drawn into the comic book. So if you get volume 4, the trade paperback, or issue 23, I'm in the first 3 pages. So that kind of like, I had some problems with it, and I felt like I probably just shouldn't say anything because I didn't want to bum Derek out. But then it became this huge success, and I was happy for him. So I decided to because on my first viewing of it, I was like, it's okay, but I hate the changes they made to the comic books. And I thought they made a couple of changes for 2019 reasons, and then they came out and said they did that, and it bugged me. But then I watched it again. I softened up on it a little bit, and I actually really love it now. Now, I love Carl Urban. He's one of my favorite actors. And I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name now. The guy from... I'm blanking on it. Homelander. The guy who played Homelander was genius. That was perfect. He was in a TV show, not Justified, the other one that my wife liked a lot. But he was great. And I like it a lot more now. So I'm going to do a proper review. But that's the reason it's taken so long. Oh my God, the words are... This really sucks when you like start forgetting words on a live stream. Transparent. That's what I'm looking for. ADHD. It sucks. And getting old. But The Witcher so far, I would give... Mrs. Nerdrotic gave it an 8 out of 10. And I would give it the same so far. The Boys, I would give a 9 out of 10. The Expanse, 9.5 out of 10. Umbrella Academy, 9 out of 10. Everything else sucks. Except for the Mandalorian's okay, but it's like a 7 out of 10. Kenneth LaRocque, the Malazan Book of the Fallen is his favorite book. Dreary Nitpicker for $4.99. We deserve better. I hear people making excuses for Jar Jar. No, I'm sorry, Disney did this stuff to us. It needs to burn so the phoenix can rise from the ashes. Dream Nitpicker, you're right. And honestly, that's what we're... hang on a second. It's Mrs. Nerdrotic. I'm live. I'm live, yeah. Say Merry Christmas. I gotta go. Bye. If she ever subscribed to the channel and watched, she'd know. She's laughing. We got to get ready for our Christmas party. So that's later, though. Where was I? Oh, people are making excuses. So that's kind of what the Fandom Menace has done. They made Disney kind of wake up and change direction, and Star Wars might work for future generations. That's I don't think it will, though. I don't think it will. The fact that the rule of two guys came out. Did you guys hear about this? They came out on Collider and they bitched about Disney placating to the fans. And I said it on Twitter. I've said it I said it here today. That wasn't fan service. That was Jar Jar Abrams service. Bringing back Palpatine does the fans no favors at all. No, it pisses me off. Make a new character, develop the new character, make the character scary, make him worse than Palpatine. I don't care, but make a new character. It's the laziness. The laziness with BBC. Instead of creating a female Time Lord, they just made Doctor Who female. This is laziness. They don't plan on doing anything past that. They just gave the Doctor boobs. They're never going to talk about the boobs. Nope. She might complain a couple of times that, oh, if I was a man, blah, blah, blah. Okay, wow. You've really moved civilization forward with that. About as much as that kiss at the end. Oh, that they cut out, by the way, in Singapore. So Disney doesn't believe in your goddamn cause, by the way. Just so you know. Star Wars fans do deserve better. They do. And other fans telling other fans to shut up. Listen, I've experienced that a lot with Game of Thrones. There are YouTube videos out there telling fans to shut up and tell George to take his time. And you know what? I figured the first 8 years I was quiet and I didn't say anything. I think after 8 years, I have every right to bitch about that book not being out. When you see George running around and going to award shows and not finishing, going and, touring the set of the Orville and stuff. Yeah. We saw Mark grow as an actor, not Luke as a character. It says Jay Terry for $2. Not Luke. I don't know. What exactly do you mean about that? Because I don't know if we've seen Mark grow as an actor. I think he's a better actor now than he was back then. He hasn't been in a bunch of stuff though. He's a great voice actor. But no, Luke did not grow as a character at all. Luke went away and hid and was a coward, and then admitted it in the next movie, and that's supposed to be okay. People were like, hey, that was an FU to Rian Johnson. I'm all, no, it wasn't. He just admitted it was a mistake. They didn't change it. See, fan service would have been changing that. And it would have been good fan service. Unfathomable. Oh, what is this? Unfathomable for £5. Loved watching the disintegration of Star Wars with you, Gary. Have my super chat cherry. Wow. Okay, I got to learn how to say this now. Unfathomable. I hope I said that right. But thank you. I'll be gentle. Ultimate Fatty for $5. I'm here from EFAP. Oh, wow. I didn't know EFAP was on. Sorry, EFAP. Hi, EFAP. I love EFAP. I have watched a ton of your videos, but I haven't caught one of your streams until now. Keep up the great work. Why, thank you, Ultimate Fatty, and thank you for watching my videos. Lots of live streaming next year. Lots and lots and lots. I'm going back to 2 nooners a week. And then, of course, there's the Friday Night Tights, and then there's Inquisition. So, yeah, that's 4 a week, 5 a week. I'll mix in stuff there. And then all my live television reviews. So if you guys are new to the channel, so how I got started was I would go live right after a television show aired, and we talked about it. Kind of like Walking Dead, but with all the other shows except for Walking Dead. I actually dipped out of Walking Dead because just like the comic books, I'm all, this is going nowhere. Forget it. The Fandom Menace for $2. Hail, Gary. Hail the Fandom Menace. I'll get on your channel. In January, I'll jump on. We'll do a live stream. All right. I am busy till the end of the year. I have a lot of reviews to do. They're going to be like medium tier though. They're not going to be like Mahler-esque. It's probably just going to be me talking. or I'll never get them done. And I just want to get them. I'd rather get the reviews out there. I'll try to make them as high quality as possible. But the Phantom Menace, I promise, or early part of January, I can jump on and do a live stream with you. And since Mrs. Nerdrotic is going to Japan without me, I'll have some extra time. Mikhail Wolf for $2 New Zealand from Middle Earth. My favorite place to go to is Middle Earth. Merry Xmas from Middle Earth, everyone. God, I can't wait I'm going to go to New Zealand someday for sure. For sure. That book I was holding up, by the way, I hate to say it, but these are things I got from George R. R. Martin. And the proceeds go to the John Cocteau Theater, but they're the illustrated Game of Thrones. Now, I'm a little bummed because they rehashed illustrations. There's not new ones. These are from the art of Game of Thrones. I mean, they're good. They're good illustrations, but I thought we were going to get like new illustrations. I was a little bummed about that. That's not cool. This one though, he signed. Oh, that's cool. So I can't wait to watch. I'm going to have my Lord of the Rings holiday viewing in the next couple of days. That'll be exciting. I watch Lord of the Rings around this time of the year. Every year. All three of them. All 3 plus 4 plus hours. All the endings. The long credits. I love it all. It's a perfect film. It's a perfect trilogy. It's the greatest trilogy of all time. It's the greatest story of all time. Star Wars can't touch it. Sorry. LOTR, GOAT. Happy Christmas, says Albert for £5. Happy Christmas to you. Thank you, Albert. And welcome. Oberon is here, and I see Aang as your avatar. Hell yeah. For 20 Danish krona. What do you think about Carnival Row? Amazon Prime. I almost liked it. This close, and then it got way too men bad. Maybe next season. Maybe next season, but I wasn't a fan. I gotta say, it lost me. I was close though. I almost liked it. Good Omens too. Sorry, Good Omens is good. Good Omens on Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime wins this year. They are the best streaming service. They have the best shit. They still have old Doctor Who. That counts for something. They have The Expanse. And they had Good Omens. Good Omens. Bjorn. But Oberon, thank you. If I'm probably going to rewatch it next month, Oberon, I'll let you know if my opinion changes because I only did watch it once. Bjorn for 50 Swedish krona. Jar Jar retcon things to piss off Ruin. We may have enjoyed the middle finger to Ruin is a coincidence. Yes. I definitely enjoyed the middle finger to Rian. I call him Rian. Bjorn, and I totally understand that, but it does more damage. So Luke Skywalker lifting the X-Wing out of the waters of Echu. And, okay, so ghosts can do that. Obi-Wan, you're an asshole. You're a straight up asshole. You just didn't want to help Luke. But unfortunately, he said he couldn't help Luke. So is there some Force rules book out there? Like, are they in a waiting room going, okay, can we do this? It's like, I don't know. It was just dumb. Incognito for $5. Just got here. Just got to say, I enjoyed The Witcher. It had some small problems, but overall, I really enjoyed it. That's exactly where I'm at. It's exactly where I'm at. And I got to give credit to the showrunner for her creative work. I don't like her Twitter work. And you know what? Maybe she learned something here because she's getting panned by the critics, and some of the people defending her, including yours truly, are people she would have given shit on Twitter. And maybe she should rethink that. Okay? Maybe this is her learning opportunity to realize we're all fans. You don't have to agree with us politically, and I don't have to agree with you politically. But when you write something, you want as many fans as possible. And I think she did that to the best of her ability. And I want to credit her for that. Nobody's asking anybody to change their politics. I'm just asking you to consider everybody else's and not be politically bigoted, because it's bigotry. I want you to think about it. I mean, listen, I know you guys in the chat are smart. I'm talking about the rare person out there who were, like Chip Zdarsky, who is a writer for Marvel, one time said, I'm paraphrasing on the tweet, but he essentially said, if you come from the right side of the aisle, you're just an evil scumbag. And that's not what he said, actually. He said something worse. And that's a bigoted statement, especially coming from a hypocrite who used to be on that side of the aisle. But it doesn't matter. Blanketly making statements like that because you've created some straw boogeyman makes you a bigot. And that you're the problem. And we have a lot of those in Hollywood right now. And they've been showing their true colors for the last couple of years. And it seems like, once in a while we find one who actually comes back later and feels embarrassed about that. And they should. And we need more of that to change. And you know how it changes? We speak up. We want to make this stuff for everybody. Okay. Listen, I am so happy I'm not selling comics right now. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I would have, if I had been selling comics during the whole Comicsgate thing, I would have sold my shop in disgust. There's no way what would have happened was I would, like, for example, Mark Waid. I wouldn't carry a single Mark Waid comic. And I did that in the past. If one of the writers, if one of the writers pissed me off, like Greg Rucka, I ordered as little as possible of any of that guy's books, to my detriment, because I hated the guy. Because I couldn't stand his act on Twitter, his treatment of fans, and he was doing that shit back then. So I would have had a very hard time selling books. So I'm glad I'm not. I'm glad that was taken off the table, out of the equation. Thank you. $5, but retracted message. I'm sorry. I don't know what happened there. Lady Mist for $5. Hope you and your family have a very Merry Christmas. I hope you and yours do too. And Merry Christmas, everybody, and Happy Hanukkah and Happy Holidays. What can we be grateful for? Well, the Fandom Menace. The Fandom Menace has been able to write their own narrative. And that is the biggest difference from the other gates and the other movements. And I don't mean to pit movements against each other, because they're all part of the same thing. Unfortunately, and this isn't just because of circumstances and because it was early on, Gamergate, Comicsgate weren't able to write their own narrative. And it sucks what happened, because I think both those, one movement was about media collusion. The other one was about political bigotry and blackballing. And also it was a consumer movement. People just wanted Marvel and DC to be neutral again and to consider the other side of the aisle, like I've been saying, and they weren't, and they were doubling down. And there was a point where people just moved on, where they're like, okay, fine. If you're not going to change, then, we got to move on. And I think Hollywood recognizes this, because people have been moving on from Hollywood. Look at the box office results of a lot of movies this year that weren't big tentpole Marvel stuff. People have been moving on. Award shows have been cratering in ratings. They were going down anyway, but I don't think it's coincidence that when they started bitching about politics, the ratings cratered. That's not a coincidence. People don't want to hear bitching about politics, period, from any side. So we can be grateful for the Fandom Menace, because they weren't able to pin anything on us. And we did get a billion-dollar corporation to change, because the billion-dollar corporation recognized that we were fans, not an operative, not an op. A jury nitpicker. The Witcher 3 is amazing. Gary, please listen to the soundtrack. Probably the best for the genre, for the game genre. The show is okay. Kind of weird seeing black elves, though. I guess biology, mythology doesn't count. Jury nitpicker for $9.99. Honestly, I don't know. That's what I would have done, and I would have made them just elves from somewhere else. Now, the elves become a big part of the story later on. I don't know, man. I'll be honest with you, jury nitpicker. When it comes to The Witcher, it doesn't bother me that much. But I'm not that into the lore or the books. So I can't say that bugs me. But when you're doing like historical drama, believe me, you're going to see it bother me when we get to Lord of the Rings. And that shit happens, though. Because, there is a way you can do it, though, that makes it work in the story. Just swapping out race, though, to meet a quota, not a fan of it. Not a fan of it. If it makes sense in the story, that's fine. But as far as The Witcher is concerned, it didn't bother me. But again, I'm not that into the lore. But I promise you this, jury nitpicker, because I'm into it now. By the time Witcher season 2, God, I can't talk. Witcher season 2 rolls around, I will know everything. Because I'm really buying into this stuff now, and I really like it, especially the books. So all the books will be read multiple times by the time Witcher season 2 rolls around. Now, as far as the game goes, I'll play it with nobody watching, because I am embarrassingly bad at video games, like hideously bad. I'll have to play it on easy mode, and it'll probably take me a year to finish it because I suck and I have no patience for that shit. But I love good soundtracks. If it's a good world, I can buy into it. I did get kind of good at Red Dead Redemption. I got kind of good at Diablo 2. The only games I really got into were Diablo 2 and Diablo, Ultimate Alliance, City of Heroes. Okay, that was one I was good at. I was good at City of Heroes. I fucking love City of Heroes. Love it, love it, love it. And Red Dead Redemption, because I love the world. I love just walking around. It was so good. So I do like some stuff. I'm not good. I'm not very good at it. Crackling, but Dreary, I see where you're coming from. I do. I don't like my lore being messed with either. Listen, I don't care how it sounds. The Fantastic Four need to look like Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four. And when I say that, I mean they need to look like Jack Kirby's Fantastic Four, because that's what I grew up on. But I certainly am okay with some like Commissioner Gordon's going to be black in the Batman. That doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. If they made Batman black, that would bother me as much as if they made the Black Panther white. It would. Now, I am all for them creating new characters too, and I think more of those need to have more representation. Certainly, do it, please. I have no problem with it. I was all for getting our first black doctor from Doctor Who. That's who I thought that's what I thought they would do. And I'm sure that's what we'll get next, which will be fine. That'll be great. But I've already said I don't think the Doctor should be female, and guess what? It doesn't make me sexist to say that. It's one character in the planet with 6 billion people. I just want one character. That's it. I'm going to check out the soundtrack, though, Jury Nitpicker, because I love soundtracks. All right. Crackling for $4.99 at the in-laws, so I can't hang out. Well, I'm sorry. You are a cool guy. Thank you, Crackling. So are you. With great content and handsome. I'm old, dude. I used to be pretty when I was younger. Not so much anymore. Little wrinkle, little gray. But thanks, though. Happy holidays to the Beekler family. Why, thank you, Cracklin. I will pass that on. Thank you for being a patron and being a strong supporter of the channel. I see you in every live stream, and I appreciate you. And hopefully we can have you on a Friday Night Tights soon. soon. Elite Spanker for $5. It is I, Elite Spanker, Doomcock's Minister of Punishment. Hi, everyone. Well, Elite Spanker, that is funny because I am the Minister of Harsh Justice. So we work in the same area. I'm at the cubicle down the hall. I'm at the maybe you're the one who took my office, my corner office, because you're an Elite Spanker and I'm just harsh. Michael Watkins for Australian $10. Merry Christmas, Gary. For my gift this year, I wished for the Disney trilogy and STD to be a bad dream and declared non-canon, but alas, I must have been bad this year because this shit still exists. Disney and CBS were bad this year. You were not, Michael. They were very bad. They were going to get coal. No, they're going to get many, many YouTube videos talking shit about their franchises. I'm not going to word it nicely. We're going to be talking shit about their franchises because they treated their fans and equally their own characters like shit. Pilgrim Driver for $2. Do you partake in the pirate themed website? I personally do not. Now, occasionally I will be sent links and things. I will be offered free tickets. I will be sent screeners that other people got sent to them. Occasionally I'll get that stuff, but I used to partake in the high seas. I do not do that anymore. It's a long story, but I don't. But by no means do I judge anybody, and by no means have I been perfect on that. Okay, so I'll leave it at that. I'm of the opinion they lose very little money on that stuff. I think the people who watch that stuff wouldn't have bought your stuff anyway, and I think enough people watch it that it might inspire them to buy more. I think it equals out, to be honest with you. And I think they know that too. So yeah, that's my feeling on that. But if you want to partake in the high seas, go for it. Especially if you don't have a lot of extra coin right now. So you wouldn't have bought the stuff anyway. So you see it anyway. And guess what? If you like it, and when you're in a better situation, you buy it. Or whenever, if you just don't feel like buying it. Yeah, I don't judge. I don't care. Those companies make obscene money. If they're whining about losing a few bucks here, shut up. You're a $1 billion corporation. Don't cry poor with me. Sadukar 7th Legion. What's up, man? For $5, for £5. Merry Christmas, Gary, to you and your family. My Christmas present this year is knowing a true Dune film will be here next year. Best sci-fi books ever, must read. Sadukar, for your sake, I want Dune to be great and unwoke. I hope that happens. And I'd love to see it. I would. I will watch it and review it. Observer Dude for £5. Why can't they have Rise of Skywalker end on a happy note with Ben, Rey, Finn, and Poe riding off together in the sunset? Yeah, it was a bummer ending. So they defeated the Final Order. The galaxy's still in turmoil. There's no established government, and she takes off alone with her beach ball. She takes her ball and goes to Skywalker's home and takes more of his shit. Jeffrey Riley for £5. Conan creator Robert E. Howard is a great storyteller. I highly recommend his work. I absolutely agree with that. I agree with that sentiment. I have read a ton of his stuff, and I echo that. Thank you. Mario Ribeiro for £5. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too. Back at you. Where is my drink? Oh, it's not here. Thank you, Mario. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope you're having a great night. I'm looking forward to We go to this house in Corte Madera every Christmas Eve, and we go visit Amanda. And Amanda is awesome. She is a professional, she's a chef and she's a baker, and she is amazing. The food is so good. I can't wait. Allie for $4.99. EW critics gave Witcher an F. I heard about this. Then admitted they only watching one episode because there's too much nudity. Did they really give that reason? There's barely any nudity I mean, it's like there, but whatever. No ethics. By the way, you're my favorite on YouTube. Wow. Allie, thank you so much. $4.99. Hey, Netflix. I would pull their access immediately. Like immediately. I wouldn't give Entertainment Weekly, who's got no cred anymore anyway. I mean, this isn't 2002. This isn't 1997. Entertainment Weekly is a dead rag. And if you have a critic admitting to not watching something all the way through and then reviewing it, that is theft. That's theft. You're lying to your audience. That is bullshit. I mean, I hope the showrunner for The Witcher sees. Listen, we'll watch your stuff. Like I will not criticize something I have not seen. Period. Ever. I don't generally talk about shit I don't see. It's sometimes to my detriment, but I will not make a video on something I'm not going to see or haven't seen. That's why I didn't make any Charlie's Angels videos, because I had no intention of seeing it. That's why I stopped making Batwoman videos, because I stopped watching it. I don't care anymore. That's despicable. So, thanks for bringing it up, Allie. Fuck EW. The showrunner, I'm going to get her name real quick. She does not deserve that. That is bullshit. And for one, they're fucking wrong. And guess what? The show is structured. They don't know what they're fracking talking about. They don't know what they're talking about because there is an unreliable narrator. The show is centered around 3 unreliable narrators. There's it's a little confusing at first, but when you watch the whole thing, you understand that you're not watching stuff linearly. But at first, it looks like you're watching stuff linearly, but you're not. So keep that in mind. And it's well done. It's well done. There are times, there's a time when this is just a little spoiler, teeny. 2 people are having sex, and there's a crowd of people watching them, and then they applaud at the end. When that scene happened, Melissa and I were like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, is this some initiation? But it was something else. So there's that, but that's it. I mean, and then they explain it later. It's nothing horrible. So, these are lazy critics. Honestly, Entertainment Weekly, I would, write them up. I would put them on suspension. I don't want to fire anybody, but to admit that out loud, wow. That's straight up millennial. I'm sorry. That's straight up millennial. That's the word I've been holding back on, but that is a millennial move. I only watched 1 episode and it was lame. Oh, shit. Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel are rolling in their graves right now. I don't know if y'all remember my most viewed video to this day, not for long because my Joker video is about to surpass it, but is an Orville video. It's an Orville Rotten Tomatoes video. And I shred the critics for 10 minutes. And I said, the critic is dead. Like the professional critic is dead. People don't go to them anymore. The only time we go to them is to mock them. And now we go to each other. I'll wait for the Critical Drinker to review something, or I'll wait for or I'll wait for I'd love to hear Mahler's opinions on stuff, and Doomcock's opinions, and Jeremy and Jeff. I mean, these are people's opinions I respect. Red Letter Media. I don't agree with them on everything, but I trust their taste. I do. I think they are good at their job, and I think they have pretty decent opinions on most entertainment. Not everything. I understand that. But those are people I would go to and trust. And Entertainment Weekly critics who probably make, I don't know, $50 an article now. Do people listen to them? I mean, maybe grandma's going to listen to them. She's not watching The Witcher. So that's horrible. So, honestly, I'm getting her name here. Is it Lauren Schmidt? She's the producer. Yeah, she deserves better. Again, I didn't like her act on Twitter, but critics doing that, that's fucked up. That's fucked up to Netflix. And, we always hear, oh, the Phantom Menace hates on stuff, and we got to watch what we say because it'll hurt the movement, hurt the group. Listen, we're individuals. Nothing anybody says can hurt the movement, because we've done a very good job not making it a group, an organized group. We've been very loosely connected, and we got to keep it that way. And that way, if somebody who likes the hashtag Phantom Menace goes off the deep end and spurgs out or something like that, you can't stick the whole group with what that one person said. And we got to keep it that way. And it's the numbers that keep it that way. The more, the merrier. But that does give critics a bad name. It gives critics, a worse name. Sorry, a worse name. That is some bullshit. And they're wrong. They're flat out wrong. Maybe I should do a video on that. Maybe Friday. Alfred McKay for Canadian $2. Merry Christmas and happy Festivus, Gary. Oh, happy Festivus. And back to you. Happy holidays. And your Canadian pesos. Where was I? It jumped on me. Give me just a second here. Got 2,800 people watching on a Christmas Eve. That's cool as hell. On an impromptu live stream. By the way, I have a Super Chat square up from Friday that will be done before the end of the week. That will be done before the end of the week. And what time do we got? Here, we got 4 o'clock. All right, almost 4 o'clock. Where did my... Here we go. All I want for Christmas is you to admit Condor Man rules. Bastard for $1.99. Condor Man rules. Condor Man. I remember Condor Man. Bump, 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 bump. Oh my God, Condor Man. I remember seeing this somewhere, and I don't remember where. Wow. That is something else. I don't know when I've seen that, but I've seen it. And it looks like it rules. It definitely looks like it rules. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Okay. Condor Man. Was it? God, it was a long time ago. I can't remember. Yes, I meant your Tesla beanie. DM on Facebook. Okay, Adam. I will DM you on Facebook for $2. You got it. Daniel for $5. Your insight into the inner workings of Hollywood have been like taking a masterclass in movie production. Have a very Merry Christmas, my friend. Wow. Thank you. I appreciate it. I was down there for a couple of years, but people are people, Daniel. They're going to act the same way. They're going to be the same assholes or the same nice people, no matter how much money they have. And ego drives everything in Hollywood. I mean, they're so predictable. I mean, they're just like a big dumb entity. Unfortunately, they are as dumb as they think the fans are. Now, the fans aren't dumb, but they are as dumb as they think the fans are. Remember that. Albert for 10 pounds. Thank you, Daniel, by the way. You are brilliant yourself, my friend. I am really tired of seeing the low-grade normie hot takes telling anyone critical of anything to shut up. They did this with Game of Thrones, and now they're doing it with Star Wars. Albert, I am right there with you. Normies, pipe down. Just pipe down. Go watch your Big Brother and go to your Targets and your strip malls and wear beige pants and drive your Priuses and go to work and make the world go round and, and just occasionally engage your critical thinking. Sadokar 7th Legion for 2 pounds. I hope all have a festive spirit and press like now. Thank you very much. I hope all have a festive spirit and press like now. Thank you, Sadokar 7th Legion. And yes, please do not forget to hit the like button. We have 1,000 likes. All right. That's great. Kawaii Nancy sends a cute little fox cat thing. I've never figured out what it is. I think it's a cat. And it says, hiya. Why, thank you. Hiya back at you. I appreciate it. For $5. Pablo Daniel Shermer for 20 Brazilian dollars. Hello from Brazil, Gary. Do you think anything from the new trilogy will stand? Even on the prequels, we have unforgettable characters and even phrases like, These aren't the droids you're looking for. What is your opinion? Forgettable. There is not a single memorable moment from the Disney trilogy other than sucky moments. What's going to be remembered? Mark Hamill tossing a lightsaber over his shoulder. For me, the image that represents the Disney trilogy for me is Mark Hamill milking a booby. That's right. That is the Disney trilogy to me. Let's see if I can bring that image up. I don't know if I have it on this computer or not. I'll have to look. Do I? Oh, yeah. I wonder if it comes up. There we go. That's it. That's what Disney Star Wars is. Represented perfectly right there. That's what Disney Star Wars means to me. And you can't put it back. If I could reverse the clip live, I would have tried, but I can't. Catfish Hunter, the great pitcher from the Oakland A's, is here for $50. Merry Christmas, Gary. You keep me sane. You guys keep me sane. No. You keep me sane. Keep up the good fight. We all continue to support you instead of the repurposers, and hopefully we'll eventually get good entertainment again. We get it occasionally. I will say this. While The Witcher has girl power in it, and it's got some woke stuff in it, it feels like to me that they tried to keep it in mind, that they didn't want to alienate everybody. I definitely think these showrunners held back. Now, where do they go for season 2? Do they feel emboldened to put more of their stuff in, or do they go, hey, we got a movement here, and this is what brings people together? And this is why, again, I hope that showrunner recognizes this, and I hope more people recognize this, is entertainment is what brought us together. I had a hard and fast rule in my store, my comic shop, the one I used to own for 10 years, I'll never mention. You can't talk about politics in my store because people in San Francisco, they love talking about politics. They'll go, hello, my name's Bob. I really hate the president. It's like, that's how they do shit here. So I made it very clear. There was a sign on the door. I made no secret, no politics. When anybody started, I said, take it outside. Take it outside. And it was what brought people together. And it stopped doing that because it chose a side. It needs, and hopefully they've learned their lesson now. Because it's sure Disney made money, they could have made a lot more, and they know that. And all we have to do is continually point that out. Do you know how much money you could have made, Disney? Do you know that Rise of Skywalker could have been a $2.5 billion movie? I mean, shit, who knows? It's a Star Wars movie. It could have been a $3 billion movie if you had done something good, if you had taken your time and you planned. The potential was there. Now it's not going to be a $1.3 billion movie. Because you decided to back that Last Jedi horse to the very end. And then you decided to change your mind at the last minute. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Sam U. Rye for $5. A character in The Witcher, Emery Var Emeris, looks like Vigo the Carpathian. He does. The Carpathian. Vigo. The Carpathian. Yes. Gray Jedi for $5. Thank you, Sam. We love them both. Gray Jedi for $5. Happy holidays, Gary. Hope we get a new Stargate series soon. Sadly, MGM does not treat the franchise with respect. What are your thoughts on Stargate? MGM is barely hanging on. And honestly, that could be the thing that makes them the most money. So if they don't, my feeling is MGM can't afford to put on a proper Stargate. That would be my guess. I'm surprised MGM hasn't been outright purchased, or has it? Is it, who owns it? Does somebody own MGM now? Like Sony or something like that. MGM's sad. And that's what's really sad is MGM's like one of the old school. It's one of the first things I remember. One of my earliest memories is the Lion at the beginning of MGM. I always thought MGM was like the movie company for a while when I was a little kid. I thought they were the only ones that made movies and TV shows. Yeah. Metro Goldwyn Mayer. It was a real fucking lion. After season 7 and 8, I can't stand anything Game of Thrones ever again, says Sam U. Rye for $2. It has not ruined the books for me yet. But I'm really close. I'm hanging on, but God damn it, I love the books. I do. But the fucking show can get fucked. I'll never watch it again. I'll never watch a second of it again. The only thing on the Blu-rays worth watching, and it's not worth buying, is the animated lore videos, which you can watch for free on YouTube. But the show was a ginormous waste of time. Dan and Dave knew they were not the right people for the job after season 5 and should have told HBO that. HBO decided to keep it secret, and basically the show ran itself, and the showrunners acted like they were these gods when they knew they were a couple of idiots, and HBO was just surrounding them with the best possible people. But when it came time for them to deliver, they dropped. They didn't even have the ball. They didn't even have balls to tell them they didn't have the ball. Oh, God. Wasting time pisses me off. Thank you, Gray Jedi, for the $5. Sam U. Ray for the $5. Sam U. Ray for the $2. And Catfish Hunter is back for another. What Catfish Hunter? Catfish Hunter, another $50. Catfish Hunter. I know you're a big time pitcher from the Oakland A's, but listen, that was the 70s. You weren't getting $1 million contracts back then. Easy. $50, man. Wow. P.S. An epiphany I had, and I fully hope you adopt it from me. The idea that when SJWs screech about inclusivity and diversity, what they really want is exclusivity and homogeneity. That's one of two. $50 more to Catfish. Thank you, but that's a lot. Catfish Hunter 202. They want everyone to think exactly like they do, and anyone who doesn't must be shouted down regardless of race, sex, orientation. Thoughts? You're exactly right. You're exactly right. This isn't about inclusivity and diversity. It is about exclusivity. It is about making a club. It is about turning an industry into a club. Listen,
a lot of this channel, a lot of what I do, I've been inspired by others. I get inspired. I don't envy. I get inspired. I see somebody doing something that impresses me. I become a fan of them. I root for that person forever, and they inspire me to do other things. Two of the inspirations for this channel are World Class Bullshitters and Diversity in Comics. And your boy Zach has come up with some of the best sayings on YouTube, and one of them was turning an industry into a club, and that's the comic industry, and that's what they're doing now. And the SJWs were able to completely defeat comic books because they were so entrenched, and also because comic books, there's no real normies. Comic books have lost the normies. The normies are what sway every argument. They're the thing we're battling over. And the normies just kind of like, just think of like a mindless thing in beige, just kind of meandering around, just being guided a little bit, by, I don't know, a shocking device or something. No, I'm just kidding. But that's what we're fighting over. And they want to extract that, or unless the normies think exactly like they do. And this is just, honestly, the SJWs and the NPCs, they want that, but this is also a very personal, deeply personal, individual issue with each one of them. And it's insecurity. And there's a lot of projection and lashing out. But like I said earlier in the show, it's damn near a form of bigotry with what they do on a daily basis. I don't know if they have the power they did before. I generally, where the SJW and NPCs are getting the most done is on Twitter. And I don't do a lot of Twitter. Twitter is a giant time suck that I just can't partake in. But and it sucks because it probably would help my channel if I was on there more, but I don't know. I could make an argument that it's helped my channel because I'm on it less. But yes, they screech people down. And listen, I'm not a big fan of broadly generalizing people, but we're talking about a certain brand of people who are mostly anonymous. They come in and snipe with their little arguments. It's the same thing over and over again. And they're not trolls. They actually think they're making the world a better place, which is very misguided at the very least. And damaging at the most. And they come in and they destroy. And the proof that it doesn't work every single time is when this stuff is adopted in entertainment. And Jeremy pointed this out. It's only when it's something established. You don't, they've tried a couple of times. They've tried to build some SJW stuff from the ground up. I'll give you a great example at the BBC. It was a show called Class. Which took place in the Doctor Who universe. They tried to make a YA Harry Potter Doctor Who from scratch, which is something they have to do. And it failed miserably. Like miserably. They got some well-known YA author to run the show, and it sucked. It was after school homogenized garbage. Why? Because they were more worried about ticking off boxes than writing a story. When they came to writing the story, it was awful. And it shows nobody really has an interest in that stuff as far as entertainment is concerned. So the BBC took a loss. I think that led directly into us getting a female doctor. And now Doctor Who is as bad as Class. And there's other shows too that have completely tanked. So that's why they have to take stuff over. It's not a message that really resonates. But they want, that's why the whole NPC thing is here. They want everybody just to repeat the same phrases over and over again. They're not about inclusivity or diversity whatsoever. They don't give a shit about that stuff. They think they're superheroes. They think when they call somebody an istrophobe on Twitter that they're being a hero. And yeah, it's really sad when you think about it. And they're nihilists. Yeah. Why do you think Sam Esmail is a nihilist? Thanks. It was all a dream for £2. Why do I think Sam Esmail is a nihilist? Did you watch Mr. Robot? I did. I watched every episode, and I watched Homelander. And For example, why do I think he's a nihilist? His storytelling is very dark. It's very postmodern. It's very much everything. It focuses on the worst parts of humanity. His first TV show was about a victim of abuse. And the whole story was wrapped around everybody's abuse and victimization and how it took over their lives with no real reward. Now, I didn't watch the very last episode, so that's why I didn't make a review. But I'll tell you what, I watched the show right up until the reveal that Elliot's dad was a diddler. And I thought that was a trope. And that's why I think Sam Esmail is a nihilist, because he fell into a basic trope because of his politics. Let's keep in mind that Sam Esmail, after season 3 of Mr. Robot, went live on USA and talked about the Orange Man. Didn't talk about his TV show. He talked about the Orange Man. So he decides to come out with the next season, and I know they were going that way all along, and I was kind of hoping they wouldn't. I was kind of hoping they would present like a good dad situation, but they didn't. And only nihilists see the world like that. Matt Guy, everything's bad. Everything's wrong with our world. Everything was taken. History is bad, so we should feel bad for what we have. We should feel bad about the roads we walk on because they were taken from somebody. Well, honestly, somebody's always taken something. The people who were the indigenous folks here in America, they weren't. They were just here first, but they weren't indigenous. No. There have been races of people here going back 150,000 years, and they keep discovering something new every few years. There's the Clovis civilization. They're all dead. Those were real Americans. But after that, no, this place was wiped out. So that's how Sam Esmail sees the world, though. He's very anti-colonialist, very, very uber elitist, progressive, Hollywood type. And he's a nihilist. Matt Guy for £5. Have you heard that Tron Uprising may finally get renewed if there's enough likes and interest in their YouTube videos? Have a great Christmas, Gary, and Solo lost money. Well, I thank you, Matt Guy. I forgot about Tron Uprising. I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I'll take a look at it. I like Tron Legacy. I did. But that's Disney. That's Disney, Matt Guy. So I don't know if I can support that right now. Unfortunately. Sadukar 7th Legion for £2. The Cult of Frisco Lives. Do an Xmas video again. Oh, boy. You know what? I can't because Doctor Who doesn't do Christmas specials anymore, Sadukar 7th Legion. Because the BBC doesn't want to have Doctor Who on a specific religious holiday anymore because they're trying to sell to an international market. And they're too politically correct. Especially since they included, and by the way, for those of you out there who say I'm full of shit on that one, I actually have a very good inside source that told me that much. There will be no Doctor Who Christmas specials as long as Chris Chibnall is running the show. And it might have something to do. I want to be clear on this. It might have something to do with a cast member. Now, it's not the cast member's fault. The cast member has no say in it. But this cast member might, because I gotta be very careful with this. It just might have, you can probably fill in the blanks. But it's how the BBC perceives things, not how real people do. The BBC is insanely politically correct. Like insanely, like off the reservation, politically correct. Regular folks don't give a shit about the things that the BBC thinks you care about. They are as long as gone as Hollywood is, the BBC is further gone. That's why I said in my description, I think Star Trek actually has a chance to rebound someday. I think as a franchise, it can rebound. We can get past Star Trek Discovery, and even maybe we're going to get 2 seasons of Picard. Actually, we're going to get 3 seasons of Picard, folks. 3. Number 2 has been announced, but I think we're going to get 3. Even if it's good or not, I think we could rebound. Doctor Who, as long as it's run by the BBC, it's gone. It's gone. It sucks, but it's gone. I can't. It'll just be an after-school special from now. The BBC has changed, and I'm sure they still produce. They used to be the gold standard to me. Like I always thought British television was head and shoulders above American television for a long time. As a matter of fact, American television is finally coming around to the shorter seasons of television. But the BBC is gone. So that's too bad. It's too bad. I've got 50 years of Doctor Who. I've not read every Doctor Who book. I don't think I've even read every comic, but I've come close. But there's still a lot of Doctor. I mean, I haven't listened to every Big Finish. There's so much Big Finish. I've listened to about half of it. So there's a lot to do, but like New Who is dead to me, which sucks. The opinionated one for $5. Keep seeing some friends who like new Star Wars. I don't know how you feel. Also, Witcher, good in my opinion. Although Triss not being ginger bothers me. LOL. Triss being, I didn't know Triss was supposed to be ginger originally. But I mean, again, I'm new to The Witcher. I'm very new. I just picked up Blood of Elves. I just finished reading it like a week ago. I haven't played the game yet, but again, I promise you, when Witcher Season 2 rolls around, I'll be able, when I get into something, I really get into it. So I'll be able to hold my own with anybody. If friends like Star Wars, then okay. They can still be your friends. I just wouldn't take their movie recommendations. Like when they're all, you got to go see this, I'd be all, but you liked Rise of Skywalker. I think I'll pass. Cesario JPN for $2. Baby Yoda being canceled by the CBC. Thoughts? Who's canceling Baby Yoda? Who's CBC? The Canadian Broadcasting Corporation? What is CBC? Hang on. The CBC wants to cancel Baby Yoda. That's on the Post-Millennial, though. You're spectacular. Managed to produce the most cringeworthy, nonsensical think piece yet. The Fandom Menace, when Baby Yoda memes go bad. This isn't the original title. The original title went, it's time to cancel Baby Yoda. No, we're not kidding. And no, it's not satire. This is an actual article by an actual person. It will make your eyes bleed. Veronica Shepard argues that Baby Yoda is problematic because the memes that have sprung up featuring his likeness do not necessarily reflect Disney's intentions for the character. She claims there are unmeasurable risks companies are taking by handing over their brands to unknown creators. Basically, she's calling for Disney to grab hold of the social media verse and shut down the memes because the memes are both annoying to her and personally and don't honor the integrity of the brand. Memes like this. Underage me looking at a bouncer. Okay, that's cute. The idea is that the memes should be regulated and in what? All right. I'll handle this in a video or we'll talk about it on Friday Night Tights. By the way, I'm watching the Tenet trailer is up and it's distracting me because it looks spectacular. The movie looks utterly spectacular. There's Michael Caine. And this movie might sell me on Robert Pattinson as Batman. Okay. I might be sold on, I think I'm coming around on, I think he's learned how to be a man. Maybe he had to go through his trials and tribulations in Hollywood, if you know what I'm saying. And maybe he's past them now and he can go on with his life and get his therapy and do what he needs to do. That's you know what? If that person is serious, we're doomed. We're fucking doomed. We're doomed. But I can see that happening. If they thought they can get away with regulating memes, they would, because there is a large group, including people in Hollywood, who think that YouTube and memes gave us the president we have. And honestly, they wouldn't be wrong, but they don't really look past that. They don't realize that the YouTube videos and the memes were made because the other side was acting stupid, because they were worth memeing, because they are clowns, because the mainstream media has been lying to us. But I don't get political. It'll happen. They'll try. Free speech is an important thing. But when you see young people burning up setting a sign on fire that says free speech, unironically, I don't know what to say. His parents should be slapped in the head repeatedly. The Phantom Menace for $2. Cool Man 3K celebration is predicted to be early January. Okay. Where am I at? I'm close to 189. I supposed if I busted my ass, I could probably get to 200K in the first week of January, but I've been busting my ass on this channel it's fun. Okay. It's not like working in the salt mines, but I've been working very hard. And I just want to take a couple days off. I don't want to sound like Harloff going, I've been busting my ass being a fan for 5 years. No, it's not like that. I've been working my ass off on this channel though. And I just need 2 days. That's it. SJS or SJ Shady 0169. Thanks, Phantom Menace, and I'll be on soon. 0169. Merry Christmas, Gary. Hope you like the gift I sent. Don't feel like you have to review. Just want to expose you to a good non-woke sci-fi comedy. Cheers. Why, thank you. I look forward to it. I'll be picking it up. What's today? Tuesday? Is today Tuesday? Yes. And it's Thursday. Oh, The Mandalorian's coming out on Thursday too. That's right. Gilbert Blomendel for £5. I don't get it. I hate The Last Jedi so much. It destroyed Star Wars for me. Why watch this train wreck and even be sadder? I think with a lot of fans, there, like I said before earlier in the live stream, there was hope. There was actual hope. There was hope that they would turn it around. There was hope they would do something. And it's done now. It's finished. It's cooked. That's why there's nothing else to talk about as far as Luke Skywalker. His journey is fucked completely if you buy into Disney Star Wars. Otherwise, it ended in Return of the Jedi and everything's okay. Famous Jones for $12.25. Started watching your videos this summer. Love your truth. Skywalker is like my wife trying to apologize for all their flaws after the divorce. Star Wars is dead. Long live Star Force. Hashtag Solo lost money. That's right. Famous Jones, that's a good analogy. Thank you for the $12.25. Plugged in for $4.99. Peen Armor. Here, Magnum Opus, and force diversity is stupid in Witcher. The scrotum armor. Told her on Twitter, you'll never pass the purity test. Hopefully she learns. Hopefully she does too, because there is no purity test that you can ever pass. Oberon for 50 Danish krona. Merry Christmas to you and your family. I love Avatar The Last Ender, but not the woke bender Korra. What do you think about the Netflix Avatar project? I think it'll probably be more like Korra than Avatar. I hope not. It's got the same people involved, right? I'm cautiously optimistic, but expecting woke. That's what I expect. I'm just not disappointed now. Sadokar 7th Legion for £5. To Disney, you want Star Wars back? Get the top fans in the room and writers and brainstorm. It's very simple. They obviously know better than you. Yes, if they hurried and they reset everything and wiped out the last 3 movies, maybe. But they're not going to do that. Although they should. They really should. You know, people laughed and we should remake Game of Thrones Season 8. No, they should have. HBO should have remade Game of Thrones Season 8. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's not as ridiculous as how bad Season 8 ended up being. Season 8 is so bad, you should actually remake it. Yeah, I'm not kidding. Fandom Menace panel for 2020, San Diego Comic-Con, says Jeffrey Wolf for $2. I don't think we'll ever get one at Comic-Con. I'm just saying, Jeffrey. But there is a chance we can get one at a smaller con. I'm actually working on that. I've got something in the works. And listen, I want to test it. So we'll take one of the smaller cons, say like in Sacramento or something like that, and do a panel there, and then work our way up to a bigger con. Well, what do you think? What do you think? Adam Wolford, thank you for the $5. Don't worry, Nerdrotic. Just ask us. We will help how to play and beat the enemies and monsters. The monsters books are your best friend. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. And I will hit you guys up. If I get stuck playing The Witcher, I will hit you guys up. Oberon, welcome to the proto-molecule level. I appreciate it. Awesome. Prince, for Australian $10. Merry Christmas to you and yours from Australia. I thought you were like 35 until last week. Yeah, I'm 50. Jar Jar Abrams and the Shills' collective suffering has been an awesome early present. Papa bless. Papa bless. And yes. It's been a very Fandom Menace Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a very Fandom Menace Christmas. Mrs. Nerdrotic is home. And it just jumped on me. There we go. Mech for $10. Hey, Roddick. Great Rise of Skywalker review the other day. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Question. Who is the green chick you use as your mascot? The green chick is called Cosmic Crater Girl. She was designed by Derek Robertson and Mrs. Nerdrotic. And she was supposed to be kind of like my comic book shop mascot. She's on 2 images. There's only 2. I don't know if I can find the other one. I can try. Derek drew 2 pictures for us, and I'm supposed to get them to Mark C. Let's see if I go. I think they're still on the Comic Outpost Facebook. That's what I'm going to check right now. I don't think they've deleted the pictures yet. Photos. I'm seeing if I can pull it up real quick. There it is right there. Okay, here we go. Window capture. You could hear one of my dogs. Can you see? There we go. So there's the original picture, and this is by Derek. I mean, it's actually bigger than this. And that is the last. He only did 2 pictures. So he did the banner one below and this one, and that's it. And that's it. All right. Let's get back to it. Mech for $10. Thank you for the $10. Jay Go for £3. The Last Jedi fixed. It was all a vision or a dream Luke had. And that's all you have to do going through the rest of your life. You just have to pretend it's a dream. Pretend it's a dream. That's it. Pinion for $2 Canadian. Hale, do you do the Super Chat square up from 3 days ago? No, Pinion, I haven't done it yet. We're going to have to probably do one for this one too, because I got to get going to my Christmas party. I got to see how much more we got to go. Yeah, I'm going to have to go. I have to go to my Christmas party. I didn't think it would be this crowded today. But Pinion, I will let you know. Tell you what, I think we'll do it. We'll do it the day after. No, I can't do it then. I think we'll do it Saturday. We're going to have to do it Saturday. It's just the holidays have messed up, and I usually don't like putting them off that long. I might even have to record it. But Pinion, I'll keep an eye on Twitter. Okay. I'll let you know. I'll let you know. Chris Cross for $3. Did you watch season 4 of Mr. Robot, Mr. Reviews? I did, and I hated how it ended so much, I stopped reviewing it. Logic Noodles for 100 Australian dollars. G'day, Gary. Have you seen the Jodorowsky's Dune documentary? Yes. The cast they had lined up for the film was jaw-dropping for back in 1975. It could have been what Star Wars was before Star Wars. Merry Christmas to you, families and friends. Thank you, Logic Noodles. It might have been, I don't know. Dune is tough. It's good for sci-fi fans. I know a lot of people love it, but we're selling stuff to the normies. I don't know if Dune is sellable to the normies. I hope it is. We'll see. I had to jump to that one because that was 100. But Mrs. Nerdrotic is home, and I have to get ready for a Christmas party. I do apologize. I wish I could continue. So we're going to say Saturday. We're going to square up Friday. And this one, again, I deeply apologize, everybody. I will give each super chat its proper time. It's proper time because those are, I appreciate them and I don't take them for granted. But I do have to run. So thank you so much. Thank you to the Modrotics. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful Fandom Menace Christmas. I'm sorry Star Wars died. I am. I truly am. I'm sorry what's happened to our entertainment. And listen, we don't expect perfection. We just want some progress. That's it. We just want some progress. I don't expect everything to go my way all the time. That's very SJW and NPC. But you know what? If you try to make something that's welcoming to absolutely everybody, base it on merit, and stop playing your virtue signaling crappy little games, Hollywood, people might stick around. But if they don't, it's your own damn fault. It's your own damn fault. I love the Fandom Menace. I want you all to be happy. I want you all to have a great Christmas and a great Hanukkah and a great holidays. And I will be live again Friday night tights, 5 p.m. Pacific time, right here with the crew from Geeks and Gamers and another added guest. Again, Super Chat square ups for last Friday, and today will be Saturday. So you'll get a bonus Saturday live stream. Everybody have a great day. And remember, not all who wander are lost.